Welcome back, fans of all things Disney. My husband and I are just home from our weekend adventure to Disney's Vero Beach. It was a wonderful experience. We had never been to Disney's Vero Beach Resort before, and it was special for us because we are celebrating 22 years of marriage, actually yesterday. So it was a wonderful opportunity for us to spend some time together and to kind of experience a Disney resort that we had not experienced before. So come on along as I take you on a little bit of a tour and a review of Disney's Vero Beach. Now, before we do that, just a reminder, we do have a subscribership drive for the month of June, and we are going to be giving away a mystery box of goodies to one of our subscribers. If you are not yet a subscriber, please just hit the subscribe button. You'll get 3 entries into the drawing. That again, that'll happen at the end of June. And if you are an existing subscriber, you already have 1 entry. You can get additional entries into the drawing just by making comments on any of the videos that we have uploaded over the course of June. So please consider subscribing to our channel. We would certainly appreciate that. We're trying to get all the way up to 700 subscribers this month. So every subscribe or a new sub will certainly help to get us to that 700. So Disney's Vero Beach is an outstanding resort, but it is not a typical Disney resort. There are little subtle hints of Disney spread throughout the resort, and then not so subtle Disney like the character breakfasts. But for the most part, if you didn't realize it was a Disney resort and you weren't kind of looking for it, you could almost overlook some of the nods to Disney, or even the blatant, the Mickey heads all over the place. But it is so beautifully and subtly done that if you're not a huge fan of Disney, you would probably still enjoy this resort. So upon arriving to Disney's Vero Beach, the first thing you do, of course, is you have to go into the lobby and you have to check in. Now, when I walked in, the lobby it's about a 4-floor lobby, so it's a nice expansive lobby. It's got this beautiful chandelier, or lighting fixtures I should say, that kind of hang from the ceiling, just like most Disney lobbies will do. But when you first walk in, it is that view of the ocean that just kind of catches you as you're walking in. Upon checking in, you get a few different things, as you would when you check into any resort. The very first one, and probably the most important one to just try to get yourself acclimated to the resort, is the map. And you can tell just by looking at the map, how big the resort is. It's nowhere near as big as the resorts on Disney property, so it was pretty easy to get ourselves around. We had a room that was right in the main inn, so we didn't have to go too far, but of course we did. We wanted to walk around and check out everything. Then another thing that you get when you check in is you get your activities for the week. Now, this is a great document. It walks you through what's happening each day, the different activities that they have planned, and then it also kind of shows you what would be happening for the rest of the week that you're there. Now, we were only there really for 1 night. We ended up getting there very, very early the day that we checked in, so we had a lot of extra time there, and we really could have participated in some of the activities on that first day, but unfortunately I didn't look that closely. I was just so excited to check out the resort. I didn't look that closely that I missed one that I absolutely would have loved to do, and that was the champainting. The champainting, if you've ever done anything like this, it's, you're painting yourself. It's kind of directed by someone, and they help you to create the painting that's as close to the model as they have. But then, of course, you're also getting a beverage. In this case, it would have been champagne, or they also offered mimosas. Now, that was a $40 activity, and if I hadn't seen the painting, I might not have wanted to do it, but the painting that they had, and I didn't get any video of this, and I wish that I had, but it was this beautiful Mickey-shaped floral archway leading out to a beach and the ocean. And it was absolutely beautiful. Would have been a wonderful keepsake to bring home, but that's okay. I will do it the next time we go back to Vero Beach. One that we did participate in was the trivia battle, and they had that in the bar and lounge upstairs. I think it started at around 8 o'clock. We already were up there enjoying a beverage when they said, come on in and do the trivia. And I will tell you what, I'm pretty good at Disney trivia, and I did terribly with this Disney trivia. It was all Disney parks trivia, and it was dates and number of feet, or in terms of height of different rides and things like that. So, but my husband and I certainly had a lot of fun doing that. So that was a fun experience. There was one activity that the next time, there goes Masha, that the next time we go back that we would like to participate in, the whole family, and that's the turtle tracks, where you're kind of, you're going out with a guide, and they're demonstrating and kind of showing you some of the paths that some of the sea turtles are taking right there on the property. As you walk around the property, you'll see that they have marked off where the turtle egg nests are, so you can't accidentally cause any damage, right? So they have marked those out with different markers. And we just thought that that would be a fun, unique activity to that resort. So that'll probably be one that we will do in the future. Now, also at Vero Beach, and this is strange for me because we're always at Disney World and we have our magic bands and all of that, but they have a key to the world card, and it kind of brought me back to our first trip to Walt Disney World, where you got your key to the world card and you had your charging privileges and all of that right through the key. And that was the same thing at Vero Beach, is that they have their key to the world card, and they have, you can do your charging privileges, it's of course your room key, all of that, same thing as your magic band, or very similar to what they have out at Disneyland, but it was very convenient for us to be able to use that. They did say that if I had brought our magic bands, that they would have been able to kind of help us out and link everything to the magic bands. I didn't know that at the time, so I didn't think to bring them, but I will know for the next time. The next thing that they gave us was the spa menu, basically, a little brochure for the spa, and it just kind of detailed all of the different services. And I actually thought about getting one of their massage packages while we were there, because again, we were there celebrating for our anniversary, but I decided against that one just because we were there for such a limited amount of time, and while a massage would have been amazing, I love a massage, I was really there more to spend time with my husband and relax, as opposed to just getting a massage and relaxing. So that might be one to put on if we're there for another couple of days, if we're there with the kids or something like that, and then mom just gets a little bit of alone time. But they did have some great packages, and I thought one that was really interesting was the Mommy and Me package. So my daughter is 15, so I don't know that we would necessarily qualify for that package, but it would just be something really cute for those moms and the little girls, the little girl getting her first massage, things like that. Now, the last thing that they gave us, actually I can't say it's the last thing, but the last planned item that they gave us at the front desk was a visitor's guide to Vero Beach. Now, my husband and I did not stray from the resort. We stayed right there for all of our meals, for all of our entertainment. There was enough for us to do that we didn't feel the need to leave. But the map shows a whole bunch of different options that you can do in the local area. So might be something that we'll explore the next time that we go, but for this time we didn't get a chance to do those things. But to just know that there are a lot of other options is really good. Now, the other thing that I didn't think to tell you until I started filming this, but the other thing that we did get from the front desk, I saw a couple walk up and they asked for some bug wipes, basically, right? Mosquito wipes. And I didn't bring any. I didn't think to bring any mosquito wipes, but they, not mosquitoes, but these little black biting, like gnats almost, they were crazy all over the place, right? So we didn't get them at first, and I regretted that almost immediately. So I went back to the front desk and I asked for those wipes, and of course, you know, you put them all over your legs, and then we were fine. Like, they didn't bother us as long as we had that applied to our legs. But oh my gosh, when we first got there, they were all over the place. When you would sit down, you'd get them on your legs. So just something you don't think about, because we don't live that close to an ocean. We're about an hour from the ocean on the side, so on the West Coast, so we don't really see things like that. And I don't know if it's even the same thing over on the West Coast of Florida, but so something we didn't think about, and thank goodness. And they just provided us with a resealable package of the mosquito wipes, which was fantastic. We didn't have to pay for them or anything. And you would think that resorts might, you know, charge you for something like that, and they just didn't. So that was awesome. Now, once we checked ourselves in, we were there, like I said, very, very early. My daughter had a 6 a.m. flight in Orlando, so we had gotten up early. We got her to the flight. We couldn't check in until 4 p.m., but my husband had said, let's just go ahead and we'll make the drive. So we had about a 2-hour drive to get to our resort for our anniversary. And so we got there really early, and that gave us a ton of time to just explore, but we couldn't get into the room, so all of our stuff stayed in the car. We could have gone swimming, but we chose not to, but we did get to spend a lot of time kind of exploring the resort. So I'm going to just go ahead and start with some of the things that I noticed right in the lobby. And because, right, Mickey's Magical Delivery, I love to shop. I love to shop. I'll start there. They do have one shop at the resort, and it is called Island Grove. And when you first walk into Island Grove, it's a very small resort store, right? I would put it on par with maybe the one at Saratoga Springs on Disney property. And truthfully, I think that that one is even a little bit bigger than the one that they have at Vero Beach. So maybe closer to the one at the boardwalk. But when you first walk in, you've got your Disney Vacation Club merchandise, because Disney's Vero Beach is a Vacation Club property. So if you are a Vacation Club member, that's one of the places that you can use your points. You can also stay there in a cash room as well. You don't have to be a Vacation Club member, but they do have Vacation Club member merchandise, but that's merchandise that you can really get at any Vacation Club property. There wasn't anything Vacation Club that was specific to Vero Beach that I saw anyway. They also had some, you know, your general merchandise as well, things that you can get in any store or at Disney Springs. They didn't have a lot of it, but they did have some. So they had some of the new hot pink ears. They had some of the new t-shirts that were out. They, of course, had some Dooney and Burks that were there. They did have, although it was very, very limited, they did have some Vero Beach specific merchandise, but not a lot, right? So there was a baseball cap, I think there was a coffee mug, there was a men's t-shirt, a women's t-shirt, I think a women's tank top, but nothing that like just screamed, you have to have this to remember your trip. Now, one of the things that I love to do whenever we go anywhere and I'm in a shop, when we're on vacation, is I like to look for a picture frame that is specific to that location. So any of the Disney resorts that we've stayed at, I've tried to get a Disney picture frame that either said the resort name or just a Disney frame that would help me to remember that trip. They didn't have a picture frame that really jumped out at me as saying Vero Beach. So I was a little bit disappointed that they just didn't have Vero Beach specific merchandise that I liked. They had plenty of nice merchandise, just not necessarily something that I wanted to bring home. But one of the things that was really, really nice about the shop is that they, of course, you would imagine, right? They kind of planned ahead for people and what their wants and their needs might be. So you're going to see there's bathing suits and there's the swimming shoes and lots of towels. And the other thing that they had is they had a ton of toys for little ones. So lots of stuffed animals, lots of play sets, things like that. And I think that was, you know, as any vacation property will have, if your kids are starting to get bored, or if, you know, you wanted to treat them to something because they've been extra specially well behaved, you know, something like that, you get them a treat or a toy. So they had plenty of those different options. They had lots of pins, lots of the typical stuff that you would find in any Disney shop at one of their resorts. So once we got to explore the shop and the lobby area, then we started to make our way outside and checked out some of the different entertainment options that they had. Now, as with any Disney resort, there's going to be a community hall and there's going to be a place that you can go ahead and you can do your rentals. At Vero Beach, the location is called Ebb and Flows Rentals, and there you can get what you would need to play pool, to play ping pong, to do any of those outdoor activities. But what I thought was really great about this resort is that they had everything spread out. So the ping pong table was in one location, the pool table was in a different location over by the pool. They had a beanbag toss area that was just outside of the lobby. So you weren't kind of all crammed into the same general area. One of my favorite things that they had at this resort, which is kind of unique, is they did have a mini golf location that is free of charge to Vacation Club members. So my husband and I were able to play mini golf a couple of times completely free of charge, and it was wonderful. You just had to go up and you asked for to play mini golf, and they gave you the ball and they gave you the little putter. And so the mini golf location itself is pirate themed. So it was really quite cute as we were going through. Now we had been at the resort for a few hours at that point, and it was our anniversary trip. So we had several beverages in us by that point. So we had a blast. We had a blast playing mini golf. The first game I actually tied with my husband because apparently I play much better when I've had a few beverages. And then in the next morning we played again, and I did not do anywhere near as well, but we certainly had fun doing it. The theming of the mini golf, it was just so cute. So many different pieces, whether it was the alligators or the sharks or the pirate ship or the broken mast. It was just a really cute location. And another thing that was really nice about the mini golf is that they had a little play area for the kids, a little playground right close to the mini golf, to where the adults could be playing mini golf while the little ones were on the slides, and you had a nice perfect shot of them, eyesight of them throughout the entire mini golf course. So that would be very convenient if somebody had little ones with them. Now the other outdoor activities that were probably the highlights, right? Number one, the pool. I love Disney pools, and the pool at Vero Beach is outstanding. I have to say the slide is probably my favorite Disney parks slide. Not park slide, I shouldn't say that. Disney property slide. It whips you around the corners. It dumps you in very fast into the pool. It's my kind of a pool slide. So of course I had to go down that a few times, but the pool was a fantastic location, great entertainment, beautiful temperature. The lifeguards were outstanding. We got to see them do a safety check while we were there. And my husband was actually watching it the entire time. He could see it kind of get set up. The fake object thrown into the water, the lifeguard, not knowing what was happening, immediately sprung into action. So it was just kind of fun to see that and to see how well trained their lifeguards are, because it was really great. And then of course we all cheered for the lifeguard for doing such a great job, so that was a nice moment. Now next to the pool, you have the main reason that you would go to Vero Beach, right? So you are there on the ocean, literally on the ocean. You have to check out the beach, you have to check out the ocean, which of course we did. So from the pool area, there is this little walkway or this kind of pier that runs underneath this gorgeous like arbor that they had created, a little archway to lead you out onto that pier and to where you can overlook the beach and you could overlook the ocean. It was absolutely stunning. The view itself was fantastic. The beach was beautiful white sand. It was very well maintained. They had plenty of beach chairs and umbrellas and things like that for people to be able to enjoy. People were having a grand old time. It was wonderful weather. So a fantastic element for Disney's Vero Beach. Now, I'm not one that likes to swim in the ocean at all. I like to walk along the edge of the ocean. I like to kind of just wade in there, but I am not a swimmer when it comes to the ocean. I love a pool. It's chlorinated. You can see the bottom. Life is good, but I'm not one that likes to swim in the ocean. So we kind of waited until the evening, and then we just kind of walked along the edge. We picked up a ton of seashells. We just kind of walked down the coast a little bit, and it was a really nice, fun thing to do. My husband and I hadn't done that in years, so it was just really, really nice. Now, there are so many other things that I could talk about in terms of entertainment at the resort, but that's kind of it for the outdoor entertainment. Inside entertainment, there goes Masha again. Indoor entertainment, one of the things that I thought was really, really nice, and they have this at a lot of the Disney resorts, where you can borrow or rent a video game system. But at this resort, I don't know if they allow you to do that, take those to your room, but they had a gaming room where they had several stations set up, and then you could just borrow. You didn't even have to rent. You could just borrow different video games, and there were kids in that room all day long. So lots of video game systems set up, and then there was another little lounge area off of the lobby where you could watch television, you could play. They had the iPad set up with all these different games on there. So really fun things that you could do. And they also had some picture locations. So one of them was just a backdrop of Disney's Vero Beach. So it was just kind of a I'm not even sure the right way to describe it, but just a backdrop with a picture of Vero Beach on it, and it had the crest in the bottom, so if you wanted to take a picture there, you could. But then they had this really great machine. It was a photo machine, kind of like a photo booth, except you weren't in a booth, and it was free to Disney Vacation Club members, where you could just go ahead and get a picture taken, and you have different filters, and you had different backgrounds and different effects, and then it gives you a code so you can link it to your Disney Photo Pass. And since we're annual pass holders, I get all those Photo Pass pictures for free anyway, but then we got those digital copies. So that was really kind of a fun thing. I could see my kids having a grand old time with that, to be honest. So now the room. All right, so the room was stunning, absolutely stunning. So we have stayed at almost every Disney Vacation Club property here in Florida. The only ones that we have not been able to experience yet are Copper Creek, because it just opened and I haven't gotten us in there yet. And I think that is it. We have not stayed at Hilton Head either, and that's in, I think, South Carolina, but we haven't stayed there. But now that we've been to Vero Beach, we've really been to nearly all of them. And I have to say that out of all of the spaces that we've stayed in, and we usually stay in the studio locations wherever we go, this was by far the most spacious room. It was set up very much like a studio, where you have your little kitchenette, but it had so much extra space in the room itself. The bathroom was spacious. The living area, kind of where the beds are, had all of this extra wall space that was there. And the balcony, when you walk out onto the balcony, it is plenty of room for a family of 4 or 5 to just kind of sit out there. And truthfully, the view was amazing. Now, I had done a little bit of research before we booked our room, right, to find out what would be the best place. And I had seen some people suggest that if you use your points to stay in a deluxe villa in room, so it's not a studio, because they do have those available. It was an in room, so one of the ones that was in the main hub, and ocean view, that it's well worth the extra points. And oh my goodness, was it well worth the extra points. It was such a beautiful, beautiful space. I couldn't have asked for a better location, because it was right there at the hub, and the view from the room, you just, when I woke up in the morning to sit out there and have my coffee and just listen to the waves, it was a fantastic, fantastic choice. So I'm very glad that we got to experience it. Now, food at Vero Beach, you have a few options. It's nowhere near like some of those other more deluxe resorts where you have a lot of different options, but their primary food location is called Wind and Waves, and they have a marketplace, where the marketplace is your typical quick service location. When you walk in, you're gonna have some options at like a little food bar, but then they've got your regular refrigerated items, your dairy items, things like that, things you can take back up to your room. Your refillable mugs are right there, as well as the mug refill station. So that's one of those little subtle things about it being a Disney resort that you would look at, right? You can get your refillable mug. They had some great desserts in a dessert case that were very Disney themed, but again, pretty subtly, right? And they just looked fantastic. I refrained, I didn't have any of those desserts, but so you have your marketplace, and that is, again, that's going to be their quick service. Then they also have a pool bar, which was a lot of fun when we were waiting to get into our room, right? One of the first things that we did after walking around is we just moseyed up to the pool bar, and we had ordered some beverages, right? And I love some of their specialty cocktails at Disney Resort. So I tried a couple of different ones. They have a whole bunch of nice Disney themed or similar drinks to what you'll find at a Disney Resort. Our server, or the bartender, was fantastic. I asked if there was a signature drink for Vero Beach, and he said that they didn't really have one, but he made me something kind of special for one of them that was like a pina colada, but it was more citrusy because it had lemons and oranges in there, and that was really, really tasty, I have to say. And then also Wind and Waves is the restaurant, and we ate at the restaurant twice. So we ate there once for dinner, and then we ate there for breakfast. For dinner, the menu I thought was very reasonably priced for a Disney restaurant. They had a decent variety, not a huge variety, but a decent variety of items. I ended up having the gnocchi marinara because I love gnocchi, and you don't often see that on menus. So I went ahead and I grabbed that. My husband ended up getting the butcher's cut, which last night was the filet mignon, and that was only $34 for a beautiful filet mignon. And he decided, he doesn't like rare meat at all. So we had the special request to, can you make sure that there is no pink on this? And the steak came out perfectly. They definitely knew what they were doing. And then for an appetizer, we had the crab cakes, and the crab cakes were very good. There were only a couple of them, but they were very, very good. Now, as far as breakfast goes, the breakfast menu is what you would expect, right? It's typical breakfast fare, but they did have some really interesting choices on there, some different kind of pancakes that looked really good, and they had quite a few different kind of seaside or like tropical feel to some of the dishes. My husband went with a standard kind of build your own platter, and I went with the French toast with a side of the potatoes, and it was a really, really great breakfast. We had talked about maybe doing Goofy's beach breakfast because that's a character meal, and it was a buffet. The meal itself would have only been $22 for breakfast per person, and because it was a character meal, that sounded like fun to me. But my husband had kind of reached that point where he doesn't like character meals to begin with. He doesn't like being in photos. He's willing to take a photo, but he doesn't like attention being drawn to him in any way. So he wasn't really sure that that was something he wanted to do. So instead of the Goofy's buffet breakfast, we decided we would just go ahead and we would eat at Wind and Waves, and it was just as nice. It was fun. As far as the food goes, that's your primary restaurant, but then there was also the Green Cabin Room Bar and Lounge. And the Green Cabin Room Bar and Lounge is a great place if you just wanted to unwind. That's where we did the trivia in the evening, and then off and on throughout the day we stopped there. In the afternoon they have popcorn available for everybody to just kind of help yourself too. We sat and we had some drinks, and we looked out at the ocean and just talked and had a really, really nice time. That was also where they were doing the champagne painting, so I stumbled across that, and that's where I saw that beautiful painting that I really, really wish I had gotten, but I'll get it the next time. So let's see here. So many other things that I could share with you, but I'll just tell you some of the basics. In addition to everything else, they had a sauna that you could go ahead and you could enjoy if you wanted to. That wasn't something I wanted to try, but they do have a sauna available. They have a weight room or a fitness room that was available called Anchors Away. Then they also, this is how you can tell it's Disney property, they had some topiaries right on Disney property. The first one that we saw was an alligator that was right out in front of the resort. And then they also had, it was because sea turtles kind of part of their logo, it's part, oh, maybe like a mascot for the resort. So they had a sea turtle topiary that I had completely overlooked the first day that we were there, and I saw it the next day, but it was just so pretty. I had to take a video for you. So they had some really nice fun things that you could look at, you know, as you were wandering around the grounds. Lots of hammocks spread throughout the property. There was a big fire pit, and they had a fire in the evening when we were there. We chose not to go because it was going to be kind of crowded, and we would rather sit up on the balcony from our room and just kind of sit out there and talk and watch the ocean. Basically, that was the primary reason that we were there. Let's see, I'm thinking that I got most everything, except I will share this. I love these signs, and every once in a while you will find one somewhere on Disney Resort properties. They had a distance sign. So for those of you that have seen these, you'll know it as soon as you see it, right? It's got, you know, it lists some of the different Disney World resorts. It listed one in California. I think it was Grand Californian was on there, Aulani was on there, and how many miles it was to each of those locations. And I have always loved those signs. I don't know why they're so cheesy, but I do. I just love those signs. So I, of course, had to stop and look at everything, and I was just being a total goofball about the whole thing. Then I do have to share this because our trip was our present to each other, right? We weren't going to exchange presents or anything like that. But I did get 2 presents for my anniversary, right? Because you can't, in my life, my husband doesn't like me to go without presents. So that's just so sweet. But we had originally said the trip was going to be our present. My daughter, before she went to New York, she had gotten us an anniversary card, kind of a surprise anniversary card, and we found it after she had left to go to New York. And it was kind of perfect. It was goofy, and it was just very, very fitting. So it's just such a sweet little thing that she did. And then the other thing that I got, the thing that my husband got for me when we were there, because I didn't see anything that really screamed Vero Beach that I had to have as a souvenir from our time at Vero Beach. He wanted to get me something, and I had focused in on one of the Jim Shore figures, right? This is the Seaside Sweethearts figurine, right? So it's a Jim Shore, and I already pulled it out of the box because I didn't want anything to happen to it while I was trying to get it out of the box. But it's the kind of thing that is just so perfectly fitting for our time at Vero Beach, right? It's Minnie and Mickey playing in the sand. It's got those little details of the flags there. It is just so cute, and it was so thoughtful of my husband, because I hemmed and hawed, and you guys know these are not inexpensive, right? These are not inexpensive things, and I don't like to spend a lot of money on anything, really. But I fell in love with this, and he actually knew I was going to, because he pointed it out to me, right? Because he knows me so well. And when I finally came to terms with, you know, I really, really love that. Oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. He finally just made the decision, and he surprised me with it the next morning, right? So he surprised me with it this morning, and just kind of walked into the room as I was getting ready and handed it to me, and I was just so appreciative. So a great anniversary gift. And I have to say, as far as a Disney resort goes, that was awesome. I will stay at Vero Beach again. I cannot wait to bring my son and my daughter there because I think that they will both love the location. If you are a DVC member and you have never tried Vero Beach, it might be worth just a night or two the next time that you're down here in the general area. The points don't seem to be terrible. They really don't. So check your point chart, see if that might make sense for you. It'll maybe break up your vacation a little bit, but I cannot recommend Vero Beach enough. I thought it was a great experience, and I'm looking forward to going back. So hopefully you enjoyed our little bit of a walkthrough of Disney's Vero Beach and our review of the resort. Please hit subscribe so we can try to get to our 700 subscribers for this month. We're getting very, very close. So if you could please go ahead and help us out, that would be greatly appreciated. Now for those of you that don't realize, we are also personal shoppers. So if you're looking for a personal shopper, all that information is in the description box below. Just send me an email at mickey'smagicaldelivery@gmail.com, and I can try to hook you up with some different items at the outlets or maybe at Disney Springs or something like that. So until our next video, bye-bye.